Hello everyone, welcome to the first video on this channel for 2023. The footy is back and I'm back with weekly footy uploads. Whoa, you beauty! Get up and about, get excited, get pumped because the footy is back in 8 days. And I tell you what, I can hardly wait. I've been hanging out for the footy season for a while now. I just cannot wait for the 2023 AFL season to get underway. And as I said, I'm back uploading weekly AFL videos on this YouTube channel, which is so exciting. Don't forget to press that subscribe button to stay up to date with all my latest content here on the channel. Now, as you can see, I've got my doggies gear on, and that's because in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on the Western Bulldogs ahead of the new season. So, let's get into it. So, let's begin with a quick recap of last year. The Western Bulldogs, they had a disappointing season, I think it's fair to say. Started off the season so slowly. It was a super inconsistent season, but they did enough to scrape into finals in the last round. And they went over to Optus Stadium, played Fremantle in an elimination final. They started off so well. They're up by 41 points at one stage, but I guess they did the old and lost by 13 points, and that was the Doggies' season cut short. But there's been a lot happening at the kennel in the off-season. Some new faces have come in, the likes of Rory Lobb, Liam Jones, Oscar Baker, a host of draftees highlighted by Jet Buslinger, who looks to be a real exciting prospect. The Doggies have also said goodbye to a few faces, though. Josh Dunkley, the big one, of course. Josh Shackey, Lockie Hunter, they both go to Melbourne. The Doggies have also said goodbye to Zane Cordy. Mitch Wallace was delisted. Stephen Martin retired, and the names don't stop there. So plenty has happened in the off-season for the Doggies at the kennel. So I want to now share with you my likes and concerns for the Doggies this season. I'll start with my likes. I really like the key position depth that is on the list this year. I cannot remember the Doggies being this tall in my time of supporting them, especially up forward. They've never really had a lot of height up forward, but you look at their forward line this year. Aaron Norton is a beast at his best. You've then got Rory Lobb, who comes into the team. Jamari Ugle-Hagan is in his third season. I think he's ready to have a big one. Sam Darcy, who can go play in the back line, and he can ruck as well as playing in the forward line. And then you've got a player like Josh Bruce, who is capable. We've seen it before. Seems like he's going to play a bit more of a defensive role this year. Speaking of defence, the Doggies' defence last year was a debacle. It was just not good enough. Liam Jones comes in. I think he could be the missing piece to the puzzle, because I tell you what, he looked fantastic in the recent practice match against North Melbourne. He looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He obviously missed a year of AFL, but he was still keeping himself fit, still playing footy, and I dare say, I think he could have an All-Australian year this year. I really think he could. He looks like he hasn't missed a beat. Ryan Gardner's going to be a huge factor to the defence this year. He's going to miss the start of the season, which is disappointing, but when he comes back, he's going to be a huge factor, as well as Alex Keefe, especially if he can get back to his form in 2021. And as I said, Josh Bruce is going to probably play a bit more of a defensive role this year. And then you've got Tim English rucking. Now, the good thing about Rory Lobb coming into the team is he can help Tim English out in the ruck. So when Rory Lobb is in the ruck, Tim English can have a rest, but also float back and help out the defence, because we know he's so good in the air. He reads the ball so well. He's a good contested mark. He's got the ability. So I'm really liking the key position depth on the Doggies list this year. I think it's fantastic. I also like the midfield. Now, the Western Bulldogs have had a pretty strong midfield for the last couple of years now. Yes, Josh Dunkley comes out of that midfield. I'll talk about that in a moment. But the Doggies, they still have a pretty strong midfield. The likes of Marcus Bontempelli, who looks like he's going to rebound after a bit of a up and down 2022 season. Also got Jack McRae, Tom Liberatore, Bailey Smith, Adam Treloar, even players like Riley West, Toby McLean, who are capable. They're capable of playing midfield minutes. I think a player like Caleb Daniel could potentially even play a bit of midfield time. Even Cody Waitman could. So I like the Doggies midfield. It's hard not to like their midfield with the names that they've got in there. I also like the talent on this list. So just going through some names, Ugle-Hagan, Darcy, Aaron Norton's still young, but boy, he's probably one of the best forwards in the competition. You've also got players like Jed Buslinger, who, is probably the best of the draftees. He probably won't play too many games this year, I don't think, but, he's going to be a huge player for the Dogs moving forward in years to come. You've also got players like Arthur Jones, I expect will make his debut this year. He looks good. Buku Kames, he showed glimpses of what he could do last year. Even a player like Riley West, who's probably going to have to fill the void of Josh Dunkley, who left. There's plenty of other talented names on this Western Bulldogs team, and as some people say, talent wins your games, and hoping that is true for the Western Bulldogs this season. So that's what I like about the Western Bulldogs this season. But now for the concerns. And probably the big one is the departure of Josh Dunkley. Now, he won the best and fairest last year. He was by far the best player at the Dogs last season. He's a midfield bull. He's so good in defence, in attack. He can kick goals. He's such a good contested player. He's going to be missed, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Dogs deal with his departure. I do believe a player like Riley West is capable of filling the void. Now, I'm not saying he will just, replace Josh Dunkley, because he's probably not he's definitely not as good as Josh Dunkley, but I think he's capable of filling the void to some extent. Yeah, going to be interesting to see how the Dogs deal with the departure of a big player like that. I'm also concerned by the fixture. So in the first 6 weeks, the Dogs play 4 top 8 teams from last year. So they start the season off against Melbourne at the MCG. That's going to be tough, because Melbourne, they've probably been one of the standout teams, if not the standout team of the pre-season. They look fit, ready to go, ready to prove something. So that's going to be a tough game to start things. Then St Kilda in round 2. I expect the Dogs to beat St Kilda, although not taking the Saints lightly, so don't come at me, Cooper Gretsch. Then the Brisbane Lions in round 3. That's going to be tough. Richmond in round 4. The Dogs always seem to lose to Richmond, so that's going to be tough. And then Port Adelaide and Fremantle away from home. So tough start to the season for the Doggies. I would be happy if the Dogs could at least win half of those games. I think that would be satisfactory, because then the Doggies do look like they have a pretty reasonable time of it after those 6 games. But just concerned with, and also as well, you look at who the Doggies have got twice: Geelong, Richmond. They got Fremantle twice, Port Adelaide. They're teams that are genuine top 8 contenders. And the other thing that slightly concerns me, now I spoke before about, how I like the key position depth, but just a little query on whether the Dogs are too tall. So I feel like being tall will work against some teams, but it might not work against some others. Not going to know until the season starts and, we see the Doggies and their 22 that they're putting on the park, or 23. So that's going to be interesting. But I do like the key position depth. I just wonder whether they're too tall, if you know what I mean. So now for my expectation. Where do I expect the Doggies to finish in 2023? Well, to be honest, I expect them to finish top 8. And if they don't play finals, then it's a failed year as far as I'm concerned, especially when you look at who they've brought in. They've brought in a couple of older players. The average age of their list is 25 years, which makes them one of the oldest lists in the comp. I just think they have to be playing finals. I do believe that they are top 8 material. I am optimistic about that. I'd love to see them finish top 4, because they haven't done that under Luke Beveridge. He's coached 8 seasons. He's taken the club to 2 grand finals. One of them resulted in a premiership, but he's never taken this team to a top 4 finish. So that would be something that I'd love to see. But top 8 finish at the most. If it's not a top 8 finish, then it's a pretty disappointing year, in my opinion. So there you go, that's my thoughts on the Western Bulldogs ahead of a massive 2023 AFL season. Let me know what you think. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to thumbs up this video and make sure you press that subscribe button because like I said, I'm back uploading footy content on this channel on a weekly basis. I reckon my next video will be my season prediction, so make sure you stay tuned for my 2 cents worth. But thank you very much for watching this video. Take care, and until next time, bye for now. Go the Doggies! Come on!